What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and welcome back to a brand new episode of 8th edition list analysis. Now, it's been a long time since I've done one of these, but it is time because the Tau Codex has come out and I've made a list. So basically what this little video is about, I make some lists for 40K and I tell you guys to review them. Now this list I actually had a chance to play in a 2v2 matchup. So all in all it was 3,000 points against 3,000 points. My buddy was using the Necrons, I was using Tau, and I was going up against Gershwin's Orcs and his friends Tyranids. So it was a Xenos Battle Royale, all about objectives, and I think this list did pretty well. So let's talk about this 1500 point Tau list. So of course I'm going to be using the brand new Codex that just came out for the Tau, and I have two detachments. The first one is a Vanguard Detachment, and it is only one command point, which is okay because at this point I don't have any Fire Warriors, I don't have any Groot, I don't have any Breacher squads, so no troops for me. But I did want to try some stratagems out, and basically made me want to have to play with a Vanguard Detachment. So of course I went with the best HQ. Of course it's got to be the Commander. Now I decided to go with the XV86 Code Star Battlesuit because it's freaking versatile. You can move 20 inches, advance 20 inches. It's not bound by having to use the missile pod and the high yield burst cannon. So I decided to go with two fusion blasters, obviously the high output burst cannon, and I gave him a shield generator for added support. Now this guy was basically going to be my ace in the hole. I would kind of go HQ hunting, try to get that Slay the Warlord with this guy, and it did just that. It actually, I hit him behind cover for like the first two turns of the game, and then Gershwin slipped up and his HQ was within range, so I flew up to him and I basically gunned him down. So pretty cool stuff there. Also for the other elite choices, I went with the Riptide, gave him the heavy burst cannon and double smart missile systems. So this was the first time using the heavy burst cannon at all. I've always gone with the other gun because my point of view before was to just use missile pods, fusion blasters, because that's what I was using back in 5th edition because it was pretty good. So I pretty much just used, I chose to go with the more stronger weapons instead of more shots. But with the heavy burst cannon, that is really good. Even though it's not as powerful as the other gun, when you Nova charge it, you're doing 18 shots. That's gonna hurt no matter what you're shooting at. So that was really fun to use, a really cool thing there. And for the other two elite slots, I went with some crisis suits. For each crisis suit, I decked them out with 3 burst cannons each. So right there you're looking at 3, 6, 9 burst cannons at 4 shots each. It was literally tearing things apart. Now, not just because I'm going up against Orcs and Tyranids, but anything that's going up against this list is being torn apart by this hail of fire that's coming. And the Sept tenant that I decided to go with this Vanguard Detachment was the Taos Sept. So the Taos Sept is basically giving them a 5 or a 6 as long as they're within an unit, a friendly Taos Sept unit. So basically their overwatch is a little improved, which is really great because you've already got this much firepower coming out of their burst cannons. I think it's 36 shots per squad. Hitting on 5s and 6s when you attempt to charge them, that's gonna hurt. And it did work this game, guys. I really like the whole play style, the whole mechanics of having just a whole bunch of burst cannons on your crisis suits, because they're pretty mobile, and if they do get charged, they're gonna hit a lot. They'll probably survive because battle suits are toughness 5, 3 wounds each. So in your turn you could just move out of combat since they have the fly keyword, and then just shoot them with the rest of your army. So that happened once, and again, pretty much anything that got into close combat with them was already weakened. They survived, they came out, and then the freaking heavy burst cannon from the Riptide just tore whatever was left in that squad. So that did really well. Now for the rest of the army, I went with a Vanguard Detachment as well, giving me 2 command points plus, the extra 3 for being battle forged. So I had 5, so I was able to use some stratagems, but I'll get to that later. Once again, I went with the commander, this time in just a regular XV8 crisis suit. However, I did deck him out with the dynamic mirror field, which is pretty good. Basically, it's a -1 for your opponent to shoot at him, and it's really awesome because it's like harder to hit, and I give him a shield generator to give him that invulnerable save, and on top of that, I paid for the Iridium Armor. Now, Iridium Armor is 15 points, and that kind of sucks because I feel like it's a bit too expensive for what it does, which really all it does is just give it a 2+ save. But I mean, in this game, that 2+ save came in clutch really well, which I like that. And since this was a unit that I didn't really want to move, I basically just planted him back and had the freaking missile pods on it because you have 36 range, which is really good. So I'm doing 6 missile shots a turn, hitting on 2s. If they do want to fire back at me, it's -1 to hit. I do got that 2+ save, plus the dynamic mirror field and the shield generator. So yeah, this guy was tanking a lot. Really awesome battle suit there. I'll play around with it a little bit more. But continuing on, I wanted to continue on with the whole stealth aspect. So I brought 2 units of the XV25 stealth battle suits, again equipping them all with burst cannons. The hardest part about this is that I wanted to keep them somewhere where I don't have to move them because of the Sept tenant for Dalith, I believe that's how you pronounce it. So basically what that means is if this unit from that Sept tenant doesn't move at all, no falling back, charging, piling, etc., then they can claim the benefit of cover. Cover is really well, because it's basically like a +1 to your armor save or whatever. So again, the key here is to keep them not moving, and positioning is key, and I think I did pretty well because I didn't move them the whole game, so that was good in that aspect. And burst cannons, again, just overwhelming shots. I decided to go with that over giving them like a fusion blast or whatever, so that was good there. And then I also had a ghost keel. Ghost keels are a really great looking model. In my opinion, it's not the best unit, but it's pretty good. I gave it a shield generator, the double fusion blasters, and the cyclic ion raker, and it did alright. I don't think it made its points back and what damage it did, but it did manage to kill the wounded warlord for the Tyranids, which was a brood lord. So I guess that's something. And then I decided to basically round up the rest of the points with 2 units of tactical drones. I decided to go with marker drones because I had no marker light support. So there's 2 units of 8 marker light drones, and they did all right. Again, whatever I marked up, I was hitting them with so many shots, it hurt a lot. Now, the thing that I mentioned in the Tau Codex First Impressions was that, marker lights are very integral, because the Tau still only hit on 4s, when like the Necrons hit on 3s, Space Marines hit on 3s, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. So marker light support was very beneficial, especially when you have that many shots firing at a unit. So again, having burst cannons to the full, even though it's only strength 5, no AP, 1 damage each, was doing work. So that's a pretty fun tactic there. Now I had 5 points to use on stratagems, and I want to say that the Neuroweb System Jammer was pretty fun to use, since it basically makes it even harder for your opponent to hit. So if you combine that one with the Dynamic Mirror Field signature system, that's -2 to hit for your opponent against your warlord, which is pretty cool. It's really fun to see anything that wants to shoot at you, just miss completely, which is pretty awesome. Apart from that, I managed to do the Failsafe Detonator. So basically one of my battlesuits blew up when he was surrounded by a whole bunch of orcs. I didn't think it was that great, because literally all it does is a 4+ for a unit to suffer a single mortal wound. It would have been better if it was like every model within like 3 inches or something like that takes a wound on like a 5+. But I mean, I managed to roll 4s on 3 units, but again, it didn't really feel like much. I mean, it was only 1 command point, so I guess that's that. But that one didn't really wow me at all. Now, I did want to use the Wall of Mirror ability, however, there was no real benefit to using it during this game. But it's pretty cool because if you've got a unit of stealth suits next to a ghost keel, if the stealth suits gets charged and they survive during your next movement phase, you could pretty much just pull them out of there and have them be anywhere within 12 inches of the ghost keel, which is pretty cool because you don't have to worry about dying. Well, yeah, I guess dying in close combat. It's a pretty awesome, nifty ability. However, I didn't get the chance to do it this game, but that was pretty cool. I also wanted to try out the Orbital Ion Beam, but at 3 command points, I felt like that was way too expensive for what it could do. Basically, it's a better version of the Failsafe Detonator, because on a 4+, that unit suffers D3 mortal wounds instead of a single mortal wound. But again, for 3 command points, that seems a bit too much. Besides that, I did want to use the stratagems that were specific for the Sept tenants, but I decided to just use that reroll, because rerolling a single dice does come in clutch. However, the Taos Sept stratagem, the focus fire, that's pretty good. Basically what that is that if a Taos Sept unit from your army inflicts an unsaved wound against an enemy during shooting, you can then add 1 to your wound rolls for any other Sept that fires at that same target. And that's really good, especially when you're firing against Necrons, because Necrons will reanimate. So if you wound something and you want to kill that unit off, it's best to do focus fire and just do that many more wounds against that unit, hopefully killing them off completely. But again, it is 3 command points, which is kind of expensive, but if you roll really well, you're doing damage right there. And on top of that, the Dahlia system, or stratagem, is also pretty cool. Strike and Fade. Use this system at the start of your shooting phase, pick a Dahlia unit from your army, and that unit may shoot and then immediately move 6 inches. Again, that's pretty cool, but I didn't get the chance to use it. But yeah, I mean, that was my list. I'll go over it really quickly. So I got a Vanguard Detachment with the Taos Sept. I got a Commander in XV8 Crisis Suit with 3 missile pods, Iridium Battlesuit, Shield Generator, and the signature system for the Dynamic Mirror Field. The Warlord trait that I had was the Seeker of Perfection. Now this Warlord trait is pretty awesome. For each roll of a 6+ made for my Warlord to hit, I get to add 1 to the wound rolls for that attack. That came in clutch a few times, so that was pretty cool. And then again, I've got 2 units of 3 stealth suits with burst cannons, and then the Ghost Keel with the Cyclic Ion Raker, Shield Generator, 2 Fusion Blasters, and his Stealth Drones, of course. And then I got 2 squads of 8 Marker Lights in each squad. And for the other Vanguard Detachment, I got the Commander in the Cold Star Battlesuit, Taos Sept, 2 Fusion Blasters, Shield Generator, and the High Output Burst Cannon. Then I got that Riptide with the Heavy Burst Cannon and the Smart Missiles. And then finishing it off, I had 2 3-man suits of Crisis Battlesuits. Each battlesuit is kitted out to the brim with burst cannons, so that's 3 burst cannons each. So that's a lot of DACA, and it was a very fun list. Let me know what you guys think about this list. If you guys had any other improvements, maybe I should have chose different Septs. Again, let me know what you guys think, and if you want to try this one out, again, it's really fun, especially having freaking, I think it's like, I don't know, like 36 shots per battlesuit squad or something like that. Yeah, it's right, because it's 4 shots per burst cannon, 3 burst cannons per dude, so that's 12 shots per dude. You got 3 dudes in a squad, 12, 24, 36 shots. That is pretty nasty, especially when you combine it with some stratagems and abilities there. It's nasty. I really enjoyed it. Big ups to my buddy for recommending giving my suits burst cannons. I never thought about giving them that because, again, I was always about the plasma and the missile pods. But yeah, there you go, guys. This is the 8th edition list analysis for my Tau. And by the way, we lost that match because they were just overwhelming us with objectives. They kept claiming them. Finally, I will say this. Finally, Gershwin used a horde army. He had mobs of 30 boys, and he had a bunch of the warp heads. And that jump ability is pretty nasty because you can move a whole squad of 30 boys basically anywhere on the field and make it an instant threat or an instant objective claimer. So that was pretty fun. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the battle report up because for some reason my phone keeps corrupting the data whenever I try to record. Like I could transfer pictures, but for some reason the video just gets corrupted. Hopefully I'll fix that. We'll get more battle reports up for you guys. But for now, this was the 8th edition list analysis for the brand new Tau Empire Codex. So let me know what you guys think, and that's all I've got for you guys. This is the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.